ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين.
I am a revert and I was taught how to pray Salah.
That means every single time I pray,
the person who told me gets the reward.
5 times a day, from Fajr to Isha.
If you want to support someone like me in learning Salah,
then sponsor 10 people for just £100 this Ramadan.
remember the Prophet, peace be upon him, said,
Charity does not decrease wealth. Click the button and donate now.
From nothing, nothing comes. You cannot have us, you cannot have matter, time, space, energy from nothing. You can't have these things popping out of nothing.
Well, maybe we can.
Okay.
But then you can also ask, can the creator pop out of nothing?
Okay, so just on that point, the onus of proof that something can come from nothing is not on me, it's on you. Because we've never experienced anything like that in our lives. So the onus is on you, not on me, to prove that that's true. Can you prove it?
Okay. Okay. You're way more used to arguing this than I am, so I'm going to have to think for a moment. Like,
What's the definition of nothing?
I can't give you a good, concise definition.
What is the definition? It's the absence of something.
You could say that. I mean,
not me.
That's a good definition. I'm sure there's a better one in the Oxford English Dictionary.
Not from me. It's if you check anyway, nothing is the absence of something.
Yes. But we just fundamentally don't know how the universe was created. And maybe it occurred from nothing. Maybe it occurred from a creator. Maybe it came from something else. We just fundamentally don't know because there was nobody there to see it.
If I was to ask you a question, you're talking about underdetermination right now, right? That there's many different possibilities. You previously said evolution's the explanation for why we're here.
Yes.
Yeah. We chose evolution amongst a group of other options.
Yes.
Why don't we look at the universe and look at the different options and then decide which one's more rational, rather than saying there's too many options? Would you agree with that?
I mean, I just
let me give you 3 categories.
Okay, no, so I guess maybe you're right. I don't know. I just don't think that question is very interesting.
Okay, so
I think the question of why the universe is here, how it occurred or was created in the first place. Okay, these people are right. I just don't find it interesting. There's so many interesting things happening in the world between people, or whatever. It's like I don't really care.
Okay. What if I was to ask you something that you said earlier on in the conversation? You said it wouldn't make a difference to you if God existed or not. You said something like this.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. What if I was to say I disagree with that, because if God exists, then we have a purpose, which is objective. If God doesn't exist, this life is meaningless. So it does have an existential impact on our lives.
But that statement may be true, but that just makes the existence of a God more desirable. It doesn't make it more probable.
Okay, good. Very good. I really like you said that. The reason why I said this is because now the question of God is important. I'm not saying God exists because God is desirable. I'm saying it makes the question of God important.
Wait. You said there was a God made sure there's a purpose. What is that purpose?
Okay, the purpose of life, according to Islam, is to have a relationship with God.
Yes.
And that relationship with God is what's going to give us happiness. I'll ask you a simple question I ask everyone that comes here. If I gave you $1 billion and you had 1 year to spend it, what would you do with those $1 billion?
I had to spend it all in 1 year. I might go skiing. I don't know.
Is that it? You look like the type of person that will go and find a cave and get a bunch of mutants. I'm joking. Anyway, do scientific experiments, buy yachts, get cars, do other stuff.
Like $1 billion. Like if I was allowed to invest it, then I could make sure I live very comfortably the rest of my life.
Fine.
But you asked me to spend it in 1 year, and I'm like, it's just the limit to how much I can.
Okay, fine.
Spend in 1 year.
You can spend it on.
Maybe I'll donate most of it. I don't know.
Okay. But say you had not 1 year, you had 100 years. You could spend it for the rest of your life. You do everything that you found desirable in your life.
Yes.
Would you say that you have now maximum happiness? There's no more happiness beyond these material things.
No, I wouldn't. I think I would probably take a few steps up, what you call like the hedonic treadmill, and I would get used to a higher standard of living, and I would just set higher goals for myself of what to achieve, because now I should be able to achieve more because I have like, what did you say, £1 billion. Sure. And then I probably wouldn't achieve those things, and maybe I would be less happy.
Are you familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of
Yes.
needs? Okay. What was right at the top?
Self-realization, right?
That was the original. That was the original sketch. What was right? What was right at the bottom? Right at the bottom.
It was like food, shelter, sleep, things like that.
As you go up the ladder, your physical needs are being left for something more transcendent.
Yes.
Okay. The ultimate transcendent being is God, and true happiness, the Quran says, is when you have a relationship with that God. And this is, you said it's not desirable or it doesn't impact your life. So on the minimum, I hope today you've seen from my perspective that God has a meaningful impact in our lives. So that's why the question of God is important. It's not just an abstract discussion, just a nice fancy way of, passing time and doing philosophy. It has a real world impact on people's lives. This is why people turn towards God.
And we can prove God exists.
I'm sorry?
We can prove God exists.
How would you prove God exists?
Me personally?
Yes.
I would use the argument from contingency. So I would say there are three types of possibilities, or three types of existence. We have impossible existence, we have possible existence, and we have necessary existence. Yeah? And I'll define them for you, yeah? The first one is an impossible existence, like a triangle square. Yeah? We cannot have a triangle square. Okay. Would you agree?
Yes, by definition, yes.
Yeah, good. So we're left with two existences. Number one is possible existence, which is contingent, something that relies on something else for its existence. And number two is a necessary existence that is independent of any need. So would you agree that me and you are dependent?
Yes.
Okay, so we are contingent on other things for our survival.
Yes, of course.
Good. So eating, food, shelter, etc.
Yeah, all those things, yes.
Yeah, good. So would you agree that planet Earth is dependent on other factors for its survival?
Yes.
Good. Would you accept that our solar system is dependent on other things?
I don't think I know enough about like astrophysics to answer that question.
No, it's not a matter of knowing about astrophysics. It's knowing that, for example, in our universe, we are a planet within our galaxy. Yes, so we depend on what other factors to survive.
I mean, like you have planets that are wandering and don't have a sun, right? So I don't know.
But are they dependent? Are they dependent on something else for their survival?
I don't know. I don't know the answers to these questions. I just don't.
No. But would you agree that they are dependent?
I don't like. Okay, so I know what you want me to answer, but I just don't know enough about the topic.
No, I want to answer. To me, my definition is this for something that is contingent. It depends on something else for its existence. It can be any other way, and it's composed of pieces. Would you agree that other planets are composed of pieces?
Sure.
Okay, then I say that is dependent. Anything that is composed of pieces is dependent.
Okay.
Okay, good. So what I would say is, for example, do you accept that, for example, our universe, is it dependent or independent?
I would guess the universe is independent.
Good. So that's good for me, because you know why? Because you accept that we require an independent thing. All you do is you ascribe that to the universe. Now, is the universe composed of pieces?
Yes.
Good. Can it be any other way?
The universe?
Yeah. Can you have more galaxies, less galaxies?
Sure.
Good. So number 3, that shows me that it is dependent. Because it's composed of pieces, it can be any other way.
You're making up all these definitions and saying all these words, but like it doesn't like. We just agreed the universe was independent. Like the universe might just be its own thing, and there might be no other things. We just don't know that.
No, you said it's independent, which to me, remember we said there are 2 types of existence: impossible existence, possible existence, and necessary existence. All you've done is you've accepted that there are possible existence and there's a necessary existence. You ascribe the necessary existence to the universe. My argument is the following: if I can prove the universe is not independent, dependent, the question I will ask you is, what does it depend on?
But you said it depended on the pieces it's made of. That makes it dependent on itself.
No, that's my whole point. That if it's composed of pieces and it can be any other way, it is dependent. It's not independent.
Dependent on what?
Those pieces. Like, for example, you know they say the part comes before the whole.
That's like saying I'm dependent on myself, and therefore I'm not dependent. Like.
No, I never said that you're dependent. If you depend on your heart, you're dependent.
My heart is part of me.
Good. Do you depend on it?
Yes.
Good. So you're dependent.
Like that's just circular logic.
How's that circular logic? You depend on your heart to beat for you to exist.
It's just circular logic, and that does not in any way prove the existence of a God.
Well, I didn't even go to God yet. You're to me, it seems like you know where it's going. I'm saying to you very simply: do you depend on water to survive?
Yes.
Yeah, you're a dependent being. You're a dependent being. That's fine. So I'm saying to you, the universe within itself, it is also dependent. It's not independent.
We don't know that.
Because the universe is not self-sufficient. You do know that. Yes. For example, we require that the universe...
The universe might very well be self-sufficient.
How? Prove it to me. How?
As I said before, I'm not an astrophysicist.
You don't need to be an astrophysicist. I can tell you that...
Yes, I actually need to be an astrophysicist to answer these questions.
I'm not an astrophysicist. I know, for example...
You also can't answer these questions.
No, I can. Very simply. We know the universe is composed of pieces. It can be any other way. You can have more galaxies, less galaxies. Therefore, not only that, we don't have infinite in the real world. Can you prove to me infinite in the real world?
There's like an infinite number of real numbers.
No, that's called potential. That's called potential infinite. You don't have actual infinite.
Hello. There's an infinite number of integers. There's an infinite number of real numbers.
No. There's potential infinite numbers going on, but there's no infinite. Infinite has no number.
I mean, now we're just having a semantics discussion.
Not really. What I'm saying to you is the following, yeah? You cannot have an infinite regress of dependent things. You require an independent, self-sufficient, necessary being that gave rise to all the dependent things.
And that was the Big Bang.
You're calling something that began to exist.
Oh.
You're calling something that exploded, that's dependent. The fact that it exploded is dependent. So you require what? If the Big Bang
the explosion might be independent.
No, how can it be independent? The fact that it exploded and needed all those forces.
We don't know. We don't know how it works. You don't know how it works. And yes. I'm tired of you being these anti-science religious fanatics. I'm so fucking tired of you.
No, you're just upset because I'm showing you logically and rationally.
Nonsense, and then you say.
No, you're upset because you can't rationally. Bring anything to the table. I understand you're upset because the thing is, when we build a logical, rational argument, you start having a tantrum. I didn't swear at you. I didn't. If I'm the religious fanatic, you sound like a religious fanatic because you've got nothing to bring to the table. I'm having a rational discussion politely. You're having a breakdown. So again, if
you're just talking nonsense.
That's fine.
You're just talking nonsense.
That's fine.
It makes no sense.
If it doesn't make sense, answer it.
Maybe you should go to school and learn some science.
Okay, that's fine. If you know science better, you be my teacher. That's fine. So I'm asking a simple question: the Big Bang, how did it explode?
I mean, I don't know how many times I have to repeat myself and say I'm not an astrophysicist.
Maybe 3 more times. No, what's it got to do with that? It's simple logic and rationality. The argument is the following.
It's hard, difficult science that we don't know the answers to.
No, 1 second. Not knowing the answers, that's a cop-out. That's like saying, I don't know the answers. Okay, that's fine. But I'm saying, logically and rationally, you accepted there is a necessary existence and a possible existence. I said to him, is the universe dependent or independent? He said, it's independent. Good, that's good for me. Which means you agree we need an independent thing. You ascribed it to the universe. I proved to you why the universe cannot be independent, it's dependent.
You did not.
Then, yes, I did. Yes, I did. That's the reason why, look, you depend on your foul language. Because you have nothing to bring to the table. So therefore, if the universe is dependent, what does it depend on?
You've been repeating yourself for 10 minutes, and I got tired because you're just repeating, spouting,
you're tired, I'm tired.
Nonsense.
So answer my question. The universe you can have an infinite regress of dependent things. So it has to rely on something that's independent. I thought so. Bye, Magnus. It's been a pleasure. As you can see, you know. Look, I admire Sabur's patience. Okay, I was listening, and I was like, yeah, I have to admire Sabur's way of Dawah, but this guy just chatting waffles, mate. You know what I did? I just shut my mouth. I thought, look, Sabur did a fantastic job, but the moment you just put them to a corner, ask rational, logical questions, inshallah, he was trying to dodge it, etc. No problem. Sabur was making fantastic points. And he's like, oh yeah, this, oh yeah, okay, no problem.
I'll tell you something funny that you did. That was really funny, yeah? When he was cornered with me, he simply said, it doesn't matter to me. So then I went into why God matters.
Exactly.
With you said, no. Yes. I'll prove it to you.
Yes, and exactly. That's why, and you did a good one because it showed that you need in Maslow's hierarchy, you need the top is what?
The top self-transcendence.
Self-transcendency. Yeah. So he understood that. The moment, look, I'm asking, I didn't insult him, I didn't swear at him, I just made the rational argument. No, you know why? Because you can sense these kind of guys, it's the ego. They worship. You know Allah says in the Quran, have you seen the one that takes his own desires as God? Brother, I didn't insult you, I didn't swear at you.
I'll tell you why it happened.
Yeah.
He knew he was filming, and I said, "Are you okay with that?" He said, "Yes."
Yes.
He wanted to be on camera.
Yes.
And then he realized it
Yes.
looks bad.
Exactly.
And
So
I showed him the channel as
Magnus played Russian roulette with a Magnum, and it didn't end well. And he intellectually lost.
He got
So
face slap.
he got. Look, I'm not here to have one over the other. It's not about that. It's about honesty.
well. No, but Ali, I would tell you one thing though.
Yes.
I was trying to be as polite as possible.
He was, yes.
However, there was a lot of arrogance in